remember that he was out of town. He's a musician, and his girlfriend and I were cleaning up and getting things ready because I didn't have time to get people in there. There have been situations where I've had those people come through and like, oh, just turn this table 45 degrees and it opened up the room. Ideally, you price it right, you present it right, and you sell it quickly. And that's our job.
Before listing a home, how much preparation do we recommend that goes into that?
Ideally, I want to be about 2 months before listing. Yeah. In an ideal world. Have I done it faster? Yes. I remember
a lot faster.
Yeah. One friend was like, we need to put this on the market in a week. I'm moving to Milwaukee. And I'm like, okay. And I remember that he was out of town. He's a musician, and his girlfriend and I were cleaning up and getting things ready because I didn't have time to get people in there, but it looked great and we sold it fairly quickly. That's not ideal. It happens occasionally, but what we like to tell people is let's start 2 months out, right? Meet with us. We'll go through our presentation on the ideal way to step by step list your home, sell it, right? Market it. Ideally, we need all those things in order. And depending on what we need to do, we need to line up those vendors, right? Painters, stagers, photographer, videographer, whatever we need the time to do that and then get those materials back and use those within our marketing. Yeah, so it's a lot easier if we can get those back and have like a week before listing at the minimum.
The walkthrough while we're staging and getting prepared to list the home is by far and large the most crucial piece in my opinion.
Yes.
It's the eagle eyes that the homeowners don't necessarily see because it's their space that they're in and day out, and it's with all the things that they love. And what we are trying to do is put on the lens of a particular home buyer or another agent who is going to pick things out.
And we need to walk the space too. There are people that list without seeing it. I don't understand how that's possible because I have different opinions once I walk through a place, both positively and negatively, right? There are things you can't see in a video.
Scuffs on a floor.
Scuffs on a floor, right? Or if it's next door to a restaurant that you didn't see, right? Or whatever it is, it's like these things kind of affect the price and you got to say, how can we mitigate that?
So in terms of over-renovating, this is a big topic that we really try to manage clients' expectations with, not wanting them to overspend on what they may not get back in return, but being really smart about those choices. So what are some of the easier, more budget-friendly recommendations that you like to give out?
So we like to put these into buckets. There are the smaller, always recommended $1,000 or $1,000, we'll say, to $3,000 bucket of painting. Maybe it only has to be a room or two. Maybe it has to be the whole place. It might be a little more expensive. Hardware on cabinetry, right? Lighting. Those are all really easy and can really transform a space.
And we're not talking a huge budget here. We're talking, the online box stores and even your Home Depot finish levels can really, really make a huge difference.
Yeah.
With a bit of updating.
Yeah. And we have our stagers come through, especially if it's going to be an owner occupied staging. It's a pretty inexpensive cost that we usually cover. They give a lot of suggestions on what to do, right? And it might take the homeowner a week. It might take them a couple months. But if they do everything that it says in that staging report, it's going to make a world of difference, right? I've seen places night and day, transformation after we've had our people come through.
Yeah. It can be overwhelming too, to be getting all of these recommendations that we're giving, or if a stager comes through, because
it's like, well, do the best you can with the time and the resources you have.
Right. But that's why time ahead is preparation is crucial.
Yes.
Because I can just see sometimes my clients are thinking, oh my gosh, I have 3 closets that haven't been touched in 10 years, or, we just had a baby and things are everywhere. How am I going to organize through all of this?
Right.
But, the number one thing is less is more. Weed things out. It feels good to purge a little bit as you're moving. If you can't see something, you're likely not using it. So it's time for a new home.
Right. I mean, that's something I'm doing currently as we are looking, because we are not in a rush, right? I'm being patient. I want exactly what I want in our next house, right? So I'm a little more patient, but at the same time, I'm being aware of the things that we need to do with our place. I'm getting it ready. Like, we're having our decks redone. We might be there for a while. It's an expensive upgrade. I wouldn't mention that to a homeowner unless their deck was falling apart. Right. That would be an important one to do if you can enjoy it and you think you might be there for another year or two still. yeah, then you can get the benefit of it.
So what are some of the like middle range suggestions that you would make?
One of the big ones is professional staging. So we talked about like a staging report if you're going to be there and it's owner-occupied staging. Because there have been situations where I've had those people come through and like, oh, just turn this table 45 degrees and it opened up the room, right? Or just put all these books in a box and put them away, store them away. It just makes it feel more open.
Yeah.
But if you're not going to be there, or if your place, maybe the furniture is maybe a little bit old and you're going to get rid of it before you move, you might as well do it now and then maybe have a stager come through and actually stage the place.
Yeah.
That could be a more expensive cost, but that's the biggest return on your investment that you're going to get.
Like the listing that you had on Racine where you recommended redoing the floors.
Redoing the floors, they had a dog, the floors were scuffed and everything, and the paint, they hadn't painted it since they'd been there. We needed to stage it because we're going to do all those things, but you have to do them, in order so that when it's ready to go. But it was quite the transformation, and then we sold it the first weekend. It was
for full price.
Full weekend. This was several years ago, so it's not like the crazy market we've had over the last few years. This was before COVID.
I think the one thing that a lot of sellers think is, okay, I don't have the bandwidth or the time or the energy for a decent sized home project, so let's just price it lower, or can we just give a credit? The thing is, you don't know what buyer is going to appreciate the home in the condition that it's in. You don't know what buyer is going to be extremely picky and ask for something that may just look like a cosmetic defect.
Right.
So I would always just err on the side of caution when it comes to preparing.
Yeah, and buyers will always overestimate what something costs. They might see a broken window.
They overestimate it.
Like let's say there's a broken window and they'll be like, well, it's just a crack or something like that. Apex, one of our trusted partners, a broken window you can replace for like a couple $100, but they might ask for $1,000 or something ridiculous for one window, and it's like, no. But they're always going to be asking for more or thinking it's going to cost more, and so by not doing it up front, it's actually going to cost you more money in the end because they're going to give you an offer accordingly.
Right.
So it's just better to just do it yourself and get it done.
I also, have had a lot of families that I've worked with that when they are doing these projects to get their home ready to sell, whether it is a light renovation or it's painting or, something kind of basic, all of a sudden it comes time to put the home on the market, and then they're sad that they didn't actually get to enjoy that.
That's a really
while they live there. They get very emotional when they look at the listing photos and say, oh my gosh, my house looks so good.
Yeah.
This is the best my house has ever looked, and it's come time to sell.
It's been like this. I've been living in this and could have had this all along.
Right. So it's just really important to have those conversations up front, get in there as soon as possible, get the photos. We can sit on them. We can wait, but being prepared.
That's the other thing too, is like, if you think you're going to be selling within even the next couple of years, like we've had situations where we started a prep, like, hey, do these things over time, stage recommendations or get these things done if you're going to enjoy it, if you're going to be here for a while. But we can list at any time. We don't have to list right away. We could sit on everything. It's just depending on your timeline, but at least we know up front and we are fully prepared and ready to go to market when that time comes.
We have a lot of companies that we work with too that are designed specifically for prepping homes for sale. Like they're renovation companies that will do any project, but they really focus on keeping budgets in line with higher quality finishes. So it's not just a fast builder grade flip or, something that's going to fall apart the second the home closes. So it's really nice to be able to have those in our back pocket. But I know that one rule of thumb that you like to talk to clients about is price, presentation, and preparation.
No, price, presentation, and
patience.
Several years back, I always thought it was a nice way to kind of explain how it works, right? And how I explain it is that like you will at most have two of those, right? You won't hit all three, because if it's priced right and it's presented well, proper staging, painted and everything, you won't need patience because it's going to sell right away, right? If it's priced well but the presentation is not there, then you're going to need some patience because people have to look through those, defects or anything that you didn't have done. And then if it's not priced right but it's presented well, that's great, meaning like it's going to be overpriced. If it's underpriced, it's going to sell quick no matter what. But if it's presented well and it's overpriced, it's still going to sit. It could look so beautiful careful, but I mean, we see this all the time. Like, this looks gorgeous, but you are way over market value.
Right.
So you're still going to need that patience. Ideally, you price it right, you present it right, and you sell it quickly. And that's our job, where we come in.
Where not a lot of patience is involved because most home buyers and sellers
They want to sell it.
They lack it.
Yeah. And then when you do a really good job and you sell it right away, they're like, well, that was easy. It's like, that's why we do what we do, right?
Right.
We're the experts. We make it as easy as we can. We make it as seamless as we can for you.